Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual. Today, I would like to speak about hope and optimism, of course, with realities. That means we have both the ugly and the beautiful included in all of this. But despite all of the suffering and all of the pain that otherwise is occurring in the world, to hold on to hope and not only merely distracting oneself with it, but following it. At least what we can do is to stay ourselves hopeful and optimistic. If it happens that we are disappointed in certain ways, get used to it. That is what we do. For life is full of quote-unquote personal disappointments. But in many more cases than not, we ourselves expose ourselves to that. And to not, it is hope for the best but expect the worst type of thing. You are always seeing both sides, all sides, three sides. Since it's two sides, it's three, since you are the one choosing the sides. But I digress. It's about when you are hopeful and you see the future and all of both your life and mankind's and future incarnations, where we are more, communities of brotherly and sisterly love, and following that by dedicating ourselves now to cultivate what we need in the future. For that is what we do. What we do now becomes the future. It speaks for itself. Nothing is random. And anyone that thinks so is just an excuse as to why everything is going wrong with me. Come on. There is better ways to do things. First and foremost, we need to find out what the higher world prompts us to. Or else they would keep bugging us until we understand it. They are like that. But they also are the most loving, nurturing beings ever, for they wish you to grow and to be loving despite all the pain. For no one can deny that there is not pain in the world. There is maybe a little too much to our personal biased opinions. But we have ourselves, through many incarnations, introduced all of this. But we also are steadily and morally developing. For that is where we human beings are evolving, through our morals. In ancient Greco-Roman times, there were not morals, it was wisdom. But there was not a moral conduct there. That first was introduced when the Christ went through the mystery at Golgotha. That is when it became available to all of mankind as a matter of state of being. That hope, that ability, that chance for redemption, for the up-curve development, happened after the Christ. For he merged himself with our development. He brought from the sun force as something that was not on this earth before. And that is the strengthening of our I and our morality. Our I, our ego, if you are here, present, you will feel every discrepancies. You will feel pain when you see someone having ugly actions, thoughts, or feelings, and you feel joy when someone is creatively loving and warm. That is actually a sense we have, but it is only in its young rudimentary stage yet. It needs to be strengthened. It should be strengthened. You don't need to do anything. You can just, take what I say with a grain of salt and find out for yourself. I know what I prefer personally, but hey, life is manifold and variable, so it's about finding out what you prefer. Not what others prefer for you, not what the world prefer for you, but what you prefer, also in relation to all of mankind, so we do not become alienated in any way. We are fully in alignment with Earth development. For once you start to alienate yourself, saying you come from someone else, somewhere else, or what else, we all do. We all come from the cosmic playground. But we have slowly and steadily developed to this planetary stage, which we are also going to develop from to another stage. But that is not something we should contemplate on for too long, for we only are given small glimpses of what that future is like, because it's so sublime and so amazingly different from what we have now, morally sound, and also, well, how we are actively, consciously. So we can only point towards it in a sense and follow along on developing. And the more we develop here and now, the more we introduce and cultivate the faculties we have now, the more and more and more we can see of the future. And that is the beautiful part, for it is not about seeing the details of the future in any regard, but it's about finding the living forces behind the effects of the physical universe. Instead of calling it, what the fuck, dark matter or antimatter, or God knows what kind of theories they concoct for themselves, all of them mechanical dead forces. This universe is intelligent, wise. It wouldn't have created this magnificent wise structures, forms, life, and movements whatsoever if it were random. Nothing intelligent can come out of a dead thing. A robot cannot create a human being. It speaks for itself. But a living God can. And that is where we need to bring life again. For once you have the whole universe mechanical, you cut out all morality. It becomes irrelevant. And I for sure don't live like that. And since we have the opportunity to live in a different way, and also a more healthy way, why shouldn't we? Think about it. When you have the hopeful, loving, warm feelings within your being, through your head, to your feelings, to your will, you are nurturing all of yourselves and give it the nourishment and the food it needs to grow and develop and become healthy. The more you're beating yourself up, saying the world is a mess and there is nothing we can do about it, what does that do with our bodies, with our soul and spirit? You can find out for yourself throughout a lifetime if you want to. I, for sure, observe others to go through that instead. But I will rather I try at least, to be as an example something other than that. Something uplifting, warm, and also at the same time not force people or push people, but being there as a loving, supportive pillar. A world pillar in a sense. As we all will become in the future. We will, just like we have many spiritual teachers from past to present, and at a certain point you see them have a lot of followers, but you feel that all of the followers as kind of one mass, as one being in a sense. We are all meant to become as that teacher. If you're following a teacher that does not teach you to become a teacher, you should find someone else. You are not meant to be a follower, a henchman, or someone that is imitating. Imitation is okay at first, because you need to feel what that other person feels to see what they see, in a sense. That is what I have done with Rudolf Steiner for many years, and really try to let my imagination be guided by whatever I study, so that I can live into what they lived into when they were writing and seeing it. That is how you absorb things. You pay attention. And the more we pay attention and become conscious, the more strengthened it becomes. And when you are conscious, you would rather have the beauty, the warm, the true, the love, true, the warm, and the beautiful. I forgot those 3 words. The true. Anyways, I digress. It's what we introduce and hold for ourselves as a matter of conscious inner state. And to be able to hold to one quote-unquote object or state of feeling or thought, you need to train it. It is like a muscle. Focus is something you slowly and steadily cultivate over time. I can say that for certainty, because I was having very huge problems with focus in my youth. But once I started to cultivate it, it kind of became a second nature over time. If we already have given ourselves up to, no, it is a disease, or no, it isn't possible, have you made a long-lasting attempt? Have you? For until you break down and not fucking possible, which won't happen. It's about the courage, and your courage is more or less always graced. But if you make an attempt, you will come to see there are exceptions always, but you know it is the minority. you know it is very few people, far and few in between, that have such huge karmic lessons that they cannot go above and beyond it. The only thing we can do is show them support, at least as much support as we can in relation to morality and such, you know. And also never to isolate them either. It's about including everything in humanity in a sense, knowing that we all are striving and working on the world karma, and we as individuals have also individual karma, but it is in relation to the world karma. So by taking responsibility for all of humanity in a sense, the whole world on your shoulders, karmic shoulders, now is something we all should pick up. For then we know that even if something happens on the other side of the earth, it affects all of us, every single one of us. So if it is in the immoral and destructive, it brings more and more difficulties to our development as a whole. It speaks for itself. We need to clean up in things. We need to work through our own inner feelings and, you know, biases on all of that to objectively see what these things are, seeing what they are introducing to us from the higher worlds. And with hope, faith, love, and hope, which is the three highest virtues you can have in Christian mysteries, the other four is, of course, justice, judgment, fortitude, and prudence, or karma, discernment, courage, and carefulness. If we are going to use modern words, of course. And the three highest, which needs those four as a pillar, faith, love, and hope. Or else you were just flying around on a cloud, you know. It's about holding ourselves balanced from earthly to the heavenly, from the cosmic to earth. And I will leave you with that today. May you be protected, guided, blessed, and loved by Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, ancient masters of all, ancestors from every incarnation, and may you be provided for with all that you need to survive, live, thrive, being creative, inspirational, and healing to the world so others can choose to follow when the time is right. And may you be safe and sound. Love you so much, dear sibling. See you. Goodbye.